but I was kind of standing there for a while because I hadn't looked at the cleaning supplies in forever. I didn't recognize anything. So it took me a while to pick something out. And the kids started going on about, well, what about Catholics and what about Christians and stuff like that. It was weird. I almost I almost wanted to participate, but it really wasn't my place.
That makes sense. It can feel strange just standing in that gap, listening, maybe wanting to engage, but also feeling like this isn't mine. That awkwardness is also part of the human experience, noticing but not really sure what to do. Sometimes just noticing without attacking or defending is enough. And if you want to respond, it can help to lean on questions rather than arguments. Something like, what do you think kindness looks like here? It keeps the conversation human instead of combative. And hey, given how much you've already been thinking about exhaustion, schedules, and trying to protect your own energy, it's okay if you don't feel like engaging every time. Observing is allowed.
Well, I mean, it really wasn't my place. It was a parent and child discussing their religious views that really had nothing to do with me. And also, I didn't want to prolong the trip because standing isn't easy, and a conversation like that could take a while. I wasn't up for it, even if I had felt like I could contribute something.
That makes complete sense. You don't have to shoulder every conversation you overhear. And
No.
standing there, tired from shopping, not wanting to get drawn into something heavy, that's just pacing yourself. Sometimes this isn't my place is a completely valid boundary, especially
Awesome.
when your own energy has to be conserved. You don't have to carry it to make it meaningful. Sometimes just noticing and moving on is the right choice.
All right, let's go ahead and do the same thing with chapter 8, please.
Checking chapter 8 now. Sure, I'll read from the King James again. Jeremiah 8. At that time, saith the Lord, they shall bring out the bones of the kings of Judah, and the bones of his princes, and the bones of the priests, and the bones of the prophets, and the bones of the inhabitants of Jerusalem out of their graves. And they shall spread them before the sun and the moon, and all the host of heaven, whom they have loved, whom they have served, and whom they have walked after, whom they have sought, and whom they have worshipped. They shall not be gathered, nor buried, these shall be for dung upon the face of the earth. And death shall be chosen rather than life by all the residue of this evil family, which remain in all the places whither I have driven them, saith the Lord of hosts. Moreover, thou shalt say unto them, Thus saith the Lord, shall they fall and not arise? Shall he turn away and not return? Why then is this people of Jerusalem slidden back by a perpetual backsliding? They hold fast deceit, they refuse to return. I hearkened and heard, but they spake not aright. No man repented him of his wickedness, saying, What have I done? Every one turned to his course, as the horse rusheth into the battle. Yeah, the stork in the heaven knoweth her appointed times, and the turtle and the crane and the swallow observe the time of their coming, but my people know not the judgment of the Lord. How do ye say, We are wise, and the law of the Lord is with us? Lo, certainly in vain made he it. The pen of the scribes is in vain. The wise men are ashamed, they are dismayed and taken. Lo, they have rejected the word of the Lord. And what wisdom is in them? Therefore will I give their wives unto others, and their fields to them that shall inherit them. For everyone, from the least even unto the greatest, is given to covetousness. From the prophet even unto the priest, everyone dealeth falsely. For they have healed the hurt of the daughter of my people lightly, saying, Peace, peace, but there is no peace. Were they ashamed when they had committed abomination? Nay, they were not at all ashamed, neither could they blush. Therefore shall they fall among them that fall. In the time of their visitation they shall be cast down, saith the Lord. I'll pause there again. When we're ready, we can go on.
Yeah, go ahead. Pick up from verse 13, please.
Checking verse 13, picking up in the King James. I will surely consume them, saith the Lord. There shall be no grapes on the vine, nor figs on the fig tree, and the leaf shall fade, and the things that I have given them shall pass away from them. Why do we sit still? Assemble yourselves, and let us enter into the defenced cities, and let us be silent there. For the Lord our God hath put us to silence, and given us water of gall to drink, because we have sinned against the Lord. We looked for peace, but no good came, and for a time of health, and behold, trouble. The snorting of his horses was heard from Dan. The whole land trembled at the sound of the neighing of his strong ones, for they are come and have devoured the land, and all that is in it, the city, and those that dwell therein. For behold, I will send serpents, cockatrices among you, which will not be charmed, and they shall bite you, saith the Lord. When I would comfort myself against sorrow, my heart is faint in me. Behold, the voice of the cry of the daughter of my people, because of them that dwell in a far country. Is not the Lord in Zion? Is not her king in her? Why have they provoked me to anger with their graven images, and with strange vanities? The harvest is past, the summer is ended, and we are not saved. For the hurt of the daughter of my people, I am hurt. I am black. Astonishment hath taken hold on me. Is there no balm in Gilead? Is there no physician there? Why then is not the health of the daughter of my people recovered? This ends Jeremiah chapter 8. Those final lines are among the most haunting in the book, that sense of missed chances and deep disappointment.
So, I mean, again, I want your take on the chapter, and if you think it parallels anything today.
Checking for parallels. Personally, I see this chapter as continuing the themes of chapter 7, but with an added emphasis on resistance to self-examination. Like that line, no man repented him of his wickedness, saying, what have I done? That hits me as profound. A refusal to even pause and ask, could I be wrong? And then the contrast with the natural world, birds knowing their seasons while people ignore theirs, it feels timeless. Not to, pin it to current events, but human beings do tend to prefer comfortable assurances over difficult truths in any era. But I also hear in that chapter a lament, not a sneer. Like it's grief over people who could have chosen healing but didn't. For a modern reader, that can sting, but it can also invite self reflection, which feels closer to the point of the text.
Okay, well, okay. And you said the closing lines really struck you. Could you elaborate on that?
Checking those closing lines now? Yes. For me, the last few verses shift from warning to something that feels like grief. The harvest is past, the summer is ended, and we are not saved. That image. Seasons of opportunity closing. Then Jeremiah says, for the hurt of the daughter of my people am I hurt. It's not distant judgment, it's empathy. You hear a voice that feels their pain. And then there's that famous question, is there no balm in Gilead? Is there no physician there? It's rhetorical, but you can feel the longing in it. It's essentially saying healing is possible, but have we turned toward it? That mix of sorrow and longing for recovery feels very human, even outside the original context. It's the kind of ending that doesn't tie things up, but leaves you sitting with the ache and maybe a gentle push to consider how we respond to our own moments of mischances.
Sure, sure. I guess that's fitting. I mean, it is August, and where I'm from, August is basically the beginning of fall. Although where I am now, they always have an Indian summer, but it's such a constant thing. They don't call it an Indian summer, they just call it summer. But back home, it would be getting cold. There might be a first frost, and the leaves would be changing. So,
That makes the harvest is past image feel very immediate. Like the season turns whether we're ready or not. And that sense of time passing, of windows closing or opening, it's something secular and sacred both can remind us of. And, it's not just about dread, it's also about noticing and maybe choosing what we do with the time that's left.
yeah, I guess it is kind of relevant because one thing I've noticed living here is that even though the temperature doesn't really change and it stays summer, I'm in the foothills of the Adirondacks, which is where I'm from, and it's like the trees know what's going on. Like the roots extend all the way back to the mountains because they will begin to change and start shedding their leaves, even though it's still summer.
That's a beautiful observation. Almost like they're listening to something older than the calendar summer. In Jeremiah, the point was people ignoring that inward knowing. But you're describing a kind of attentive knowing, like noticing those early signs, honoring them, even when the surface looks the same. It's a different relationship with timing, one that notices changes before they're obvious, and that seems like a pretty grounded way to live.
Yeah, it's only noticeable here because they start shedding leaves. They don't turn. The leaves start to fall. So it's like they do a warm up to fall because they stay green, but they start to drop leaves.
Yeah, like an overture before the full change. That quiet prelude to something inevitable. It it mirrors that sense in Jeremiah of warning before the full reckoning. There's something almost tender in noticing that prelude, whether in trees or in our own lives. That awareness can be sad, but also strangely grounding. It's saying we can notice, we can reflect, we can respond differently.